If you're a homeowner, you should care about these two things. How much is my home worth today compared to what it was yesterday, and how long would it take to sell in today's market? We're sitting here in August, meaning we are looking at the stats for July because it is time for another 1-minute market update. Generally speaking, the market is still kind of going about the same as it's been for the better part of the year. Listings are super high right now across the Metro Vancouver area. They're sitting at about 17,000 total listings right now, which is like 40% higher than the 10-year average. So it is, in most areas anyway, very much still a buyer's market where sellers are having to be a little bit flexible to get deals done. But then on the other side of that coin, if they're also buying in the same market, they're able to command pretty significant discounts in most cases. Anyway, let's jump right into the numbers. We are starting off with detached homes in Burnaby. You are up 0.5% from last month, but down 2.5% from last year. New West, you're up 4.7% from last month and up 0.3% from this time last year. Coquitlam, you're down 0.8% from last month and down 5.1% from last year. Port Moody, you're down 1.6% from last month and down 3.2% from last year. Port Coquitlam, you're down 1.7% from last month and down 5.4% from last year. Maple Ridge, you're down 1.3% from last month and down 3.3% from last year. Pitt Meadows, you're down 2.1% from last month and down 4.1% from this time last year. Okay, jumping over to townhouses now. Once again, starting off in Burnaby, you are up 0.2% from last month, but down 2.1% from this time last year. New West, you're up 1.5% from last month, but down 3.2% from last year. Coquitlam, you're down 0.2% from last month and up 0.2% from last year. Port Moody, you're up 0.1% from last month and down 2% from last year. Port Coquitlam, you're down 0.5% from last month, but up 0.2% from last year. Maple Ridge, you are net equal with last month and down 2% from last year. Pitt Meadows, you are down 1.8% from last month and down 1.8% from last year. If this is helpful for you and you know someone else who might also find this kind of information useful, make sure you share it with them. And if you feel like it, hit the subscribe button. I talk about all sorts of different things on the channel, including stats like this, what's happening in the news, and what's affecting our overall market. Anyway, jumping over to condos now, starting once again in Burnaby. You are down 0.6% from last month and down 4.7% from this time last year. New West, you're down 0.9% from last month and down 3% from last year. Coquitlam, you're down 0.8% from last month and down 5.6% from last year. That's a rough one. Port Moody, you are down 1.3% from last month and down 4% from last year. Port Coquitlam, you're down 2.4% from last month and down 3.4% from last year. Maple Ridge, you're down 2% from last month and down 4.2% from last year. And finally, Pitt Meadows, you are down 1.3% from last month and down 4.1% from last year. Now let's talk about how long homes are taking to sell. So this is the time from the day that you put your house up for sale to the day that you have an accepted offer. In Burnaby, you bumped up a little bit up to 24 days on market. New West, a big increase up to 25 days on market. Coquitlam, another big increase up to 26 days on market. Port Moody, net equal with last year, 21 days on market. Port Coquitlam nearly doubled up to 23 days on market. Maple Ridge, you're sitting at 21 days on market, and Pitt Meadows, another big increase, almost doubling up to 33 days on market. If you want a little bit of information on what's happening in your specific neighborhood, or you have maybe some plans of making a move sometime this year or maybe even into next year, there is a link in the description below. You can click on it, you can book a time to chat with us. We'll go over the numbers with you and we'll give you good advice whether or not you're ready to make a move or not. Doesn't really matter to us. We're just here to provide good value and help you out along the way so that when the time comes, you have the information that you need. I'm Angelo with the Atlas Group. I'll see you in the next one.